Welcome to 60 Skills. Today's question is, what is the fastest way to learn meditation, yoga, and magic? The fastest way to learn all of these things is to utilize clairsentience, or your subtle sense of touch. The reason for this is quite simple. Out of all of your senses, sight, sound, taste, touch, your clairsentience, or subtle sense of touch, is the least degraded. And the reason for this is quite simple. Without the subtle aspect to touch, that of sensation, or the astral nature of it, you basically don't have a sense of touch. Now, on the other hand, developing clairvoyance or clairaudience or clairgustinance through smell and taste, those processes take a little bit longer and are a little bit more complicated. Out of those, clairgustinance, or your subtle sense of smell and taste, are the next easiest to develop. But in general, for most people, between cognitive dissonance, cultural programming, and just a general desire not to deal with certain aspects of the subtle worlds, clairvoyance and clairaudience typically take a while to develop. So, by developing your sense of touch, or clairsentience, it unlocks your ability to work with the subtle worlds. And the fact of the matter is, you can get quite a ways by just having your subtle sense of touch developed without worrying about the others. In fact, even if you're doing out-of-body projection and dealing with spirit figures, a well-developed sense of clairsentience will result in a kind of innate knowing. Now, you're still going to have to do the work to figure out whatever it is you now know, but you can even do quite a bit of spirit magic without clairvoyance or clairaudience. I do not recommend this, however, as it is not the most efficient way to go about doing things. But again, by developing your subtle sense of touch, this now allows you to engage subtle energy. And when you can engage subtle energy, then you can do things like the 3 transformations or the 3 releases. Now you can work with astral energy. Now you can learn how to generate mental energy and use mental breath. With that, it's a hop, skip, and a jump away to working with the elements, and then at that point you can establish equilibrium, generate your own akasha, and then engage non-dual light, or the light of pure consciousness. So, utilizing clairsentience as your primary training tool gives you a lot of things to work with. It is essentially a bottom-up method of development. Now, there are top-down methods as well, and a lot of traditional forms of meditation utilize this, but they tend to be slower. The other reason for this is, as we've talked about many times in the 60 Skills curriculum, grounding subtle energy into the physical via the mechanism of action, i.e., using your body to do things, greatly increases your throughput of energy. Because it is generally easier to transmute energy from a raw or vital form to a more subtle or mental or akashic or non-dual form, just by increasing the amount of energy you have to work with and being able to control it through your subtle sense of touch, greatly increases your rate of progression in the meditative worlds as well. So, once again, the ability to utilize your subtle sense of touch makes everything else much easier. Also, because you're talking the ability to manipulate things physically, this is also very closely related to body training. And again, as we've talked about many times in the 60 Skills coursework, the more body training you've completed, the more energy can move through your body in a clear manner. This again gives you more to work with. So ultimately, and what 60 Skills has seen over 30 years of practice, is that systems that stress development of clairsentience, or your subtle sense of touch, tend to result in the most rapid development of their practitioners, both in terms of the chain of manifestation and in the path of enlightenment. So either way you go, developing your subtle sense of touch is a very valuable thing to do. In the 60 Skills curriculum, the primary coursework for this is Build the Ball, and it is also, or Build the Chi Ball, and it is also one of 3 primary courses you need to unlock the entire system. So, join 60 Skills as we learn everything there is to learn about clairsentience, or your subtle sense of touch.